How's it going, everyone? David from DoD Media. Previously on the channel, I made a video where I kind of broke down my take on this shoulder-mounted option for a gimbal. Now, this one is the RS3 Pro. It is using a shoulder mount and a Tilta smart remote thingy-majig to be able to control the gimbal. All of this is based on the setup that they use to shoot the film, the Creator. And in that breakdown, I showed how I took it a step further in that I was able to then also reverse the gimbal so that I could be shooting over my shoulder to someone who was following me. And so I could be walking forwards, monitoring forwards, looking at my monitor in front of me, instead of having to run backwards holding a gimbal and have someone spot me. But it was a little bit tricky to kind of get my bearings when I was doing it because I would move and it would be counterintuitive. And a lot of people left comments in the comment section saying, why don't you flip your monitor horizontally, which is a brilliant suggestion. And that really gets rid of a lot of that weird disconnect between your movements and the camera's movements. But as well as this shoulder-mounted system works, and it works really well, I do occasionally long for the ability to just easily take it off and work handheld, as you would traditionally use this sort of single handle gimbal. And so that is what leads us to today's video, so that I can show you some of these modifications that I've done to this, which allow me to do exactly that in very few steps. And so essentially we can go from having this shoulder mounted gimbal here, which is fully controllable using the Tilta remote here to be able to pull focus, and I can monitor it really nicely, really comfortably just in front of my face without blocking my view, so I can still see what I'm doing without being hidden behind a monitor. But then let's say that we need to quickly adjust for a different shot and we need to be able to go handheld instead. Well, I'll just stick that gimbal to sleep, unplug my HDMI cable. Now I'm going to release the NATO rail clamp that is on the base here, and I'm going to release the iFootage clamp so that the 2 points of contact that I have are now released. Then of course I just remove the HDMI cable, which is linked to this shoulder base. And I'm actually gonna have to just quickly unplug my DTAP here, and I unplug the monitor and transmitter's DTAPs because I'm going for this single handheld use. And then finally I release my V-lock and I stick it in this small rig dummy battery plate and I reconnect the DTAP. Now I can power back up the RS3 Pro into an incredibly small, incredibly lightweight, single handle kind of underslung, or just single handle style, with access to the focus wheel if I need to, or the recentering buttons. But really the purpose of this is to have a very, very lightweight, minimal rig that can easily become detached from that shoulder setup. So to achieve this, what I've had to do is actually switch away this handle, which was attached to the main body of the shoulder rig, and instead attach it to one of the little NATO rail clips that's on the small rig power base. That way I could put this dummy V-lock battery plate on there, attach that to the handle, so the whole thing is sort of self-contained, without having to try and remove the power base to put the original battery back into the handle of the RS3 Pro. And so then reconnecting it is the same thing, just in reverse. So I'll stick my battery there for the time being, disconnect power, line all of this up, clamp that down, tighten that up, bring this back into my DTAP, stick my V-lock back in there, bring the monitor power back in over here, stick that little cable under there, out of the way, lovely stuff, and then just zip my HDMI cable back on here and plug her in. And now, once again, I have full shoulder capacity for the RS3 Pro.